Right, it's the next day actually. I need to crack on and get that bearing off. I've just looked up the price of wheel bearings, about 40 quid actually, delivered. So yeah, I didn't think there was as much as that. But anyway, have a look at this. These are the parts for that shock absorber. They were painted previously and then I've zinc plated them. How nice are they? Absolutely beautiful. I've painted the spring, which is not so hot, and I've also painted the shock itself. But hey, you can't have everything. Right, I'm going to get that back together, and then we can probably put the swing arm on the bike as well. Okay, let's carry on. Right, age-old problem. How the fuck do you get them bearings off? If you look on YouTube, and you'll find, if you ask 10 people on YouTube how you do it, you'll get 11 answers. So the first thing I want to do, because I'm not bothered about this bearing, is I will just break it off, just bust it off. But it is going to leave like the bottom race of the bearing still intact. Now, before I get any comments about abuse of tools, two things. They're my tools. If I want to abuse them, I will. And the other thing is, this is a sacrificial screwdriver anyway. So what I'm doing, I just want to bust off the top section of the bearing. And this isn't a how-to, I'm probably doing it all wrong. This is a how I do it, in the absence of having proper tools and what have you. So all the old rollers are falling out. So that's pretty much the top section of the bearing. We'll throw these in the scrap bucket. Yeah, I always think these things would be useful for something, but I've never found a use for them, so weld them all together and then thread them and make a bolt. And that was a joke before anybody takes it seriously. Right, and as predicted, we are left with the bottom section of the bearing. Now, what I saw Dirty Garage Guy, and I watched a fair few of his videos, but he got a Dremel and then he cut through as far as he possibly could and then whacked it with a chisel and it cracked open. I'm going to try that, so let me set my Dremel up, get some tape around here, and yeah, we'll give it a go. What could possibly go wrong? So I'll just show you what I'm going to be using to try and cut this bearing off. These things here are supposed to be diamond cutting wheels. They're quite small, which means hopefully I should be able to get right in there. And I think they come from either Temu or AliExpress, so they're obviously going to be of the highest quality. So I'll just get one of them out. Definitely be wearing my glasses with these, because I mean they are paper thin, absolutely paper thin. But we'll give it a go. I mean, what have I got to lose apart from my eyesight? Right, let me get that set up on a Dremel. I'll turn the camera back on. Right, we're good to go. Have we turned on? No, we are now. Now, safety goggles on, and I genuinely have this time. Safety goggles, there you go. I don't always, but I certainly don't trust this wheel. Cutting really well. I don't think I've cut anywhere near enough, but we will give it a whack with a chisel. Pretty crap chisel, to be honest, but it's the only one I got. No, I think we need to go quite a bit more. Like that. Did that go? It's moved. Hang on. What's that? Yep. There we go. It's off. That was easier than I thought it was going to be. And I have not put a single mark on that, which I'm very pleased about. Right, this now needs cleaning and painting, and then when we've done that, we'll see about getting the old new bearings on it. Absolutely fucking fantastic. Okay, onwards and upwards. And so on. So we'll carry on with that and get that all cleaned up. Right, that's all the paint removed from that bottom section. I'm not worried about this shaft. I'll just get greased up and go up inside the frame. Still rust to deal with as well. Also, round here, you can see all these casting marks. And again, round there, look, casting marks everywhere. Don't know if I'm going to get them all off, but I'm tempted to try and file a lot of them off. I know it's the way it is, but you know, it's here. Might as well have a go. Anyway, got to figure out some way of dealing with that rust. Then get the casting marks off, thoroughly clean it, probably get a coat of primer on it before you see it again. Right, we'll check in later. Right, I know that I said the next time you see it it'll be in primer, but I just thought I'd show you what I've done. Took some of them casting marks off and filed and sanded that. Not got everything, but in my humble opinion it does look a lot better. So now we need to de-rust that, degrease it, get a coat of primer on it. This is why it all takes so long. Right, my camera battery's nearly flat, so I've got to be quick, but I wanted to show you this because I'm quite proud of it. Look at this shock. I'll just put that together. Really pleased with how that's come out. That is fantastic. So that's ready to go back on. I've done this as well. I've got all the bearings in there, new seals. I've got to do a bit of a bodge up, not a bodge up as such, but these things here, they should have a rubber seal embedded within them. They go on there and then the seal goes in there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that in. You can't get them, by the way. I can't buy new ones, they're just not available. So I'll pop that in there and then I'm going to put an O-ring in there and that should work. And the reason I know it should work is because on the other two there and there, that's exactly what they've done. And that's Kawasaki OEM. They just have an O-ring in there. And what actually happens is the part clamps down onto that inner bush like that, and then that inner bush rotates within that. Now previously they were C-solid, so it would have been very horrible notchy suspension, but yeah, anyway, that's done. I've got to get some O-rings for them. Yeah, that's ready to go back together. The reason I can't get it back together is because on the swing arm, I've had a look at the parts diagram, there's two oil seals that go on each end of that. Can't find them. Either it didn't have them in the first place, which is highly likely, or I've lost them. Anyway, they are available. They're about £6 a pop, but I've got to order them, so until they turn up, there's nothing I can do. I am going to go through all my parts bins here just to see if I can find them, but I'm pretty sure they didn't have them in the first place. Anyway, next job. These wheels here, oh shit, they are all ready for the powder coaters. Now I've phoned around. The best price I can get round my way, which I think is expensive, is 130 quid. The reason it's expensive is because the colour I've chosen has to have a clear coat on top of it. It can't just go on its own, so that's increased the cost. You'll see the colour I've chosen when they come back. I'm going to go and drop them off now. It's about 20 minutes from my home. They'll be about a week or two, so we will reveal them when they come back. Right. This video is probably getting a bit messy actually. We keep dipping in and saying a few things and then dipping out again. But anyway, it's just the way it is. Right, this... Who's the folks at? Who cares? This thing here, where I said I'd got these caps that go over here, and they were, I couldn't get hold of them, and I was going to bodge it with a couple of O-rings, and it should have worked, and it probably would have worked, but I've had a rummage around in my stash, and I've actually found two bloody good ones, all the seals intact and everything. I've just given them a quick blow over with some silver paint there. Not that you'll ever see them, but so yeah, they'll go on. Also, this top yoke, what do you reckon to this, guys? Am I fucking stupid or what? No, you're not supposed to say yes. This is the yoke, which I cleaned up with a wire brush, and I got most of the rust off. I've just a little bit of rust here and there that I couldn't get to, so I had the bright idea of soaking it in vinegar. Vinegar, let's get the words out. And this is the result. It's rusted to fuck. I put it in vinegar to get rid of rust, and it's just made it 10 times worse. What the fuck have I done wrong there? Anyway, onwards and upwards. What am I doing next? Well, I'm going to sort that out. The wheels have gone. They have gone off to the powder coaters. They'll be 7 to 10 days. Looking forward to getting them back. 120 to 130 quid he's quoted me. I've ordered these caps here, oil caps for the end of the swing arm, so I can get that bolted on. Ordered them from Wiimoto. They're pattern parts, but they'll do. I've also ordered full bearing kit, front and back wheels, some fork oil, some tyre valves, a couple of other bits and pieces. 54 quid. I'm not adding this all up as we go along, but 100 and fuck knows how much for the frame to be done. 150 odd for the wheels, 60 quid here, 20 quid there. I'm already into this bike for way more than it's worth. I don't care. It's not why I do it. So, just the way it is. Right, let's crack on, get that yoke sorted. Forks. Right, these are the forks of the red EX500D, I think it is. And I'm just having a look at them. They are in superb condition, given the age of the bike. Now, I don't even know if this will show up, but I shall try. There is some really, really minor pitting just there. There's nothing I can do about that. I have run over it with a super fine pad just to take the top off. Now, even when you run your finger over it, you can't actually feel it, but you physically can see them. Now, I've just had a look at the forks on the other bike, because I want to put the best ones on. They're very good, but I think these are better. So, there's no sign whatsoever of leaking. So, I'm not going to change the seals. Why would I change the seals when they don't need changing? I am going to change the oil, and I'll probably do that on camera, but not now because I've ordered the oil, and there's no point draining these down until I've got the oil to put in them. So what I shall do is I'll drain the oil first and change it, and then when they're all sealed back up again, I will then start to refurbish. And by refurbish, they don't need a lot. I'm going to rub all that black paint off, coat of primer, coat of black on again, and they'll be absolutely fine. Like I say, I'll change the oil on camera when I get it, but basically you force that down, release the clip, and then that all gubbins all pops out, and then you pull the spring out, and you fill it up, and you pretty much measure from there to the top of the oil, and I think I looked it up, it's about 120 millimeters or something like that. So yes, that's a job. I'm going to start sanding this down now. Obviously you don't want to see me sanding, but that's a start towards getting this on. My aim now is to actually get this on wheels, standing on the floor on wheels. Now the yoke, I've spent a lot of time on this, and I've got a coat of primer on that. That's pretty good. It's as good as I'm going to get it with my skills and equipment. So we'll let that dry. We'll give that a coat of paint. Then we can see about getting the bearing on it and getting it fitted. So, off camera, on I go. This is a little irritating. As you know, I have spent quite some time cleaning and deburring and basically making this bottom yoke look really nice, and I've made a fantastic job of it, though I say it myself. It looks like new, but I don't think I can use it. Now the difference between this GPZ here and this GPZ here is 1 year. and one model number. So this is a D7, this is a D6. So what's the problem? Right, this is the top yoke which I started to prepare, and then I noticed it's got some very slight damage there. Nothing much, won't make much difference. So I thought, not an issue. We'll have a look at this one and we'll take that one off and use that instead. So I've took it off and I didn't notice the difference straight away. Let me show you. So there they are together. This one is the D7, this one is the D6. Now, a few differences which I did know. Let's rewind a bit. So look, this is the one off this bike, and as you can see, it pretty much fits on there perfectly. Now when I took that off, I thought, right, I don't want to leave this bike in bits, so let's put this one back on so that it's all in one piece. Now the first thing I noticed is it doesn't fit, and the reason it doesn't fit is because the angle, I'm not making, I'm doing a lousy job of this. I don't know if you can notice that, but this one sweeps up much more like that, and so those holes are a different distance apart. So why not just put up with that little bit of damage and go with this one? Well, there's a couple of reasons. The later one looks nicer. If I can find the bolts. What the fuck have I, there we go. So when this one is screwed onto the bike, as you can see, that bolt will be exposed. Now this one, it sits in that recess, and then a nice cap goes over it so you never see it. Also, this has that around the ignition housing. This has nothing. The ignition just sits there on top, floating about. So what it basically boils down to is, if I want to use this one, and I really do, as far as I know, I've got to use this yoke on this bike, which means taking this off and then spending hours and hours prepping that one in the same way I prep that one in order to use it. So that's bloody annoying. Right, confused.com. I've taken the yoke out of this, as you can see, and the bike just fell on my head, which wasn't nice. Stop laughing, I saw you. I've got the yoke here, and I have spent some time with lining these holes up and measuring it and everything, and there is no shadow of a doubt these bottom yokes are identical, absolutely 100% identical. So I've wasted my time taking that out. However, the two top plates clearly are not. And those holes, to me, it's difficult, I've got it one-handed, but those two holes there do not line up. So we've got different top plates. I don't know. This is the one I want to use. That's the one I'm going to use. I'm just going to throw this back together now, and I'm going to see how it goes together using this this here top plate. And yeah, confused. If anyone can throw any light on it, hit the comments. Right, I'm going to throw this back together. Right, I've thrown that one back together with what is allegedly the D6 top on it. I'm beginning to question whether that is actually off a GPZ, and the reason I'm asking that is that if you look at the handlebars which are screwed on, they don't actually line up. See what I mean? Whereas if you look at, let me show you this one I've got in my hand. So this is the top. Well, turn me hand, I can't see you over there. Right. This is the top that I've just taken off this bike, but this is the handlebar for the red one, the D6. So this is a D7 top and a D6 handlebar. Now, because they don't match up, you would think, well, these won't match up either. But as you can see, they actually align perfectly. So, what's going on? Is that actually a GPZ top? I did manage to get it on by loosening everything off and then putting it on and then tightening everything up. I don't think it's great, but at the minute that's not a problem. That's just a parts bike, so we can get another one if we ever decide to do anything with regards to getting this one on the road, and that's still up in the air at the minute. It does need an awful lot of work, but we might be able to do something with it at some point in the future. One thing I do know is that the headstock bearings on this are absolutely fucking shot to pieces. There's actually dents in the race where the balls, because it's got individual balls rather than a sort of a caged race, and they're that worn that the balls have sort of worn their own little hole into the race. But you know, it's back together so that, you know, should I need to, I can move it about. And also, another reason I'm keeping this one together is I'm kind of copying it, you know what I mean? If like a router cable or where a part goes, I can come and look at this and think, ah yes, that's the one. As well as all the photos I took when I took that other one apart. Anyway, I've moulded that up a bit, measuring it with wet paint, so I'm going to give that a quick coat. I'm going to call it a day. Don't know. We'll get back to it. I've got work for the next 4 days. We'll get back onto it after that.